Fresh baked. I hope everybody finds me okay. On account of we're not on Fresh Baked proper. We're going to find out. Got some folks in the house, it looks like. Let's see, where am I? Okay, I'm going to stand by here for a minute. Oh, there we go. We got some folks. Hey, Laramie. I was not expecting to see you on this one. You're my only moderator on this channel, Larry. Good afternoon. This not regularly scheduled live stream. Something I keep wanting to do these things, and I keep not doing them because I haven't had time. But today I had time. Happy Friday, everybody. For the 32 people that are here, what I want to do, called in sick. Okay. Wait. Oh, that's right. Laramie, what's your... Well, anyway, I'll get to you on that later. I want to keep the conversation limited to just this topic because this live stream, or these live streams that I'm doing on this channel, are going to be kind of newsy in nature. Just giving you guys kind of like ground rules or whatever. There's already somebody with an opinion. So what I want to do is just sort of talk about, keep things on topic, just this topic, and that is, okay, so recently, Walt Disney World confirmed, Disney World, not Disneyland, Walt Disney World confirmed that they are going to be adding some of their character meet and greet experiences to Genie Plus. So for I guess over there at Genie, or at Walt Disney World, it's $15 to buy Genie Plus, and a meet and greet would be included. It's not an additional fee on top of the Genie Plus fee. It's as if it were an attraction, a ride. I think. That's a good question. I'm not sure if they're going to treat it like Rise of the Resistance or some of the other additional Lightning Lane. I'll have to look into that. But my belief, at first at least, is that it's just going to be part of your paid Genie Plus. This is Walt Disney World only. Yeah, Naomi, okay. So far, Walt Disney World only. Now, the reason why this is Walt Disney World only right now is because of the nature of their park and the nature with which they have their character meet and greets. Everything is scheduled. Everything is scheduled at Walt Disney World. Even before COVID, everything was scheduled. And they didn't have free roaming characters walking around the parks like they do here, or they used to, I should say, which is a point we're going to get into. But every character meet and greet at the park there's a queue and a schedule for. Mark Lopez says, does it apply to any character that is or once was available to meet? No, well, it's not every character. By the way, let me, I need to get this thing launched over here. Give me 1 second, guys. I want to launch the chat on my laptop here. Okay. Stephen Crawford makes a very good point. I am not paying to meet a character. They are supposed to be part of the park experience. Well, certainly that's the way things are going. And to be honest, it's not just Disneyland. There's a lot of pieces out there. Look at what's happened with the evolution of cable. All the channels were all together in one big cable bill, and people shook their fist when that cable bill got to be $150 a month. So then everybody started their own streaming networks. Every channel has its own stream. I mean, Discovery, AMC, not just the big ones, but some the smaller ones too. And each one of those is like $5 each. Add all those up, and now it's more than 150 probably. I think I spend more than 150 on streaming services now, but I digress. I'm making an what do you call it? A comparison. Anyway, that is a direction that they're going. Everything is becoming a la carte these days. And it used to be. I don't know if we're allowed to say it used to be this way. Why that sucks. Well, I shouldn't say allowed. It's just kind of the nature of things, isn't it? The evolution. I don't want. That's a philosophical conversation. Let's get back to the details, and then we'll get into those questions here in a minute. Everything is scheduled at Walt Disney World. Plus, Disney World does not do meets the way they do here presently. You can't do this at Disneyland right now. You can't have a paid option for character meet and greets. Disney's Boiling Frogs. Don Kelly, I've been saying that for close to 7 years now, I think. Ever since we heard the first whisper of paid Fastpass, when Max Pass was a rumor, I said they're boiling frogs. I don't know how long ago that was, but that's how long ago I've been saying the frog boiling thing. And they're still boiling those frogs. They have been for a long time. Today, when you meet a character at Disneyland right now, it's not in a queue. People just kind of walk up, you grab your selfie, you run your kids up there, and they just kind of stand in front of them, and it's not a one-on-one experience. Impossible to monetize that. Impossible to do that. And the reason why they're doing that right now is because of COVID. That is one of the last remaining protection. Guys, what I don't know who's in charge of characters and character meet and greets and things like that. Did you know that those characters, the cast members inside those costumes have to wear a mask underneath the costume? And they're not allowed to have any contact whatsoever with guests. If they're going from point A to point B, where point B is that, socially distant meet, they're not allowed to. They have to don't touch. If a kid tries to run up and hug them, they have to get out of that situation. I know, right? So that's the reason why we have the character meet and greets that we do now. Well, Laramie, there is an entertainment corridor or coordinator, yes, and they help, but sometimes you can't stop it. Sometimes those kids just have a mission, and that is to hug that character. Gaston, good one. But that is going to end eventually at Disneyland. That will end eventually. By the way, I should say, all of this conversation, the reason why I'm doing this video today and having this conversation with you guys, because I saw that this is per an article on Mice Chat, and they were talking about it, and it got my head, thinking a little bit. So refer back to Mice Chat. They did a little. It's part of their Dateline Disneyland. I'm baffled by the mask thing. When I heard that, I'm like, no, you don't. Nah, that's not true. That can't be true. Because I can't understand, why are they not allowed to touch? They're already in a suit. Anyway, that is what I was told by a cast member. I don't know this firsthand, obviously. I was told that by a cast member. But there's going to be a point in time when that will no longer be the case, and we'll go back to those traditional meet and greets, the traditional character meet and greets, where you line up and you take your picture with a character, one person at a time. Now, my question. Okay, so I'm sorry. That is the time when Disney might turn on paying to meet a cast or meet a character. And I know some of you already object. But when I thought about this, is it really any different than an attraction, a ride? Why do the outdoor characters, Tinkerbell, etc., not required to wear a mask? Because there's a separation. There's a minimum amount of distance between you and the character. Anytime you meet a face character, there is a minimum, it's probably 6 feet or so at least. Laramie says if someone sneezes into a character's mouth, the person wearing the head can get the gross stuff. I've worn Happy's head. There's no real protection. Masks aren't to protect you, though, Laramie. That's the whole point, is that masks are to protect us. The mask prevents the COVID from getting out of your face, not from the COVID getting into your face. It's to keep the COVID out of your face. I don't think you need any more than a character's head to do that. But getting back to my question, answer this for me. I'll put this out there, and I'll poll the audience. Is there a difference? Do you see a difference between an attraction and meeting a character with respect to, in the eyes of a kid wanting to meet a character? Do you approach both the same way? Because we queue up for both, and there's an expectation for there to be a wait and all that stuff. Well, I tend to agree, Laramie, that it is both. I feel safer with it on sometimes when I'm in those situations. But technically speaking, per the science, that was its purpose. Jacob DeCarly, I would pay for my kids to meet a character, especially certain characters. Especially new characters, like characters from a new movie or a rare character. Mickey Mouse, I don't know. But here's the thing, like here at Disneyland, and this is the situation that makes it seem like many people would say it's not worth it, because it's so easy to meet Mickey Mouse right now. It's super easy. Let me check. Federalist says it's different than a ride because my kid is meant to make a personal connection with the character. That starts with how she sees the character interacting with others. Well, I'm not sure. Okay, in that sense, yes, it's different, but does that change your mind in terms of whether or not you would pay for it? If you're willing to pay for a ride, would you not also be willing to pay to meet a character? I think that's the way Disney's seeing it. Ryan Labastida, no difference if I was a kid. A character could be as important to that kid as Rise is to us. And that's the thing, sometimes we have tunnel vision and we see things through our own filter. And by the way, I'm not talking about the experience. I'm talking about the desire, where your priority, what's important. And again, Raul Serrano just says, hold on. My wife doesn't know that I'm live streaming right now. As I understand it, but I can't confirm either way because they haven't started it yet. Thank you to producer of what for the $1 gift. By the way, there's no super chats on these. I'm pretty sure I turned them off. The only thing that we have on is stickers. So if you want to just donate for no good reason, please do feel free. But I have turned off super chat. As I understand it, they're part of your paid Genie Plus. So if you're paying $20 here at Disneyland, that would include Lightning Lane for characters. I think they have nothing's official, but that's my assumption. Answer your phone. Keith Bob, I'm fine seeing characters from afar. I'd never pay for a meet and greet. I wouldn't either, but some people I think would. Because when we get back to, right now, like I said, it's super easy. But I don't know if you've been to Mickey's house. That's the one that I'm thinking of. When you go to Mickey's house in Toontown or Minnie's house, that could be a 40-minute, 45-minute wait. That's a full-on. Now, they give you a whole queue and things to walk through, and it's kind of fun. It's an attraction in itself, going through all that, going through Mickey's house. But in the end, if you were given the opportunity, think back. I'll have to check out that Tim Tracker video. Think back to are they doing it now already? Kimberly? I thought they hadn't started yet. Are they doing it already? Okay, while I wait for that, think back to back in the day when you'd go to Mickey's house and they had the meet at the end. Thank you to Brian G for the $5 gift. They had the meet and greet at the end. You had to go through the whole house. There were times when you'd see that queue out the door of Mickey's house, and it would take 45 minutes. They have started to, okay, I'm gonna have to look into that. Would you pay $10 to skip that line? If meeting Mickey was a priority for you, would you pay $10 to skip that line? The traditional line at Mickey's house in Toontown. Here's a question. I'm curious. When you buy Genie Plus, you're buying it for everybody in your party. But what if only one person is... You're buying it for the mom, you're buying it for the dad, you're buying it for Jimmy, and for little Sally, okay? 4 times you're paying for Genie Plus. Well, I guess it's already paid for, right? What if you brought friends and they didn't have Genie Plus? What if I brought my wife and I bought Genie Plus for myself, but not for her? Would they just let me? I would imagine they would just let me take the picture, right? That's interesting. Welly Baker. So for paying for it gives you what extra? Are they saying if you don't pay, you don't? No. Okay, I forgot to mention that. There's still standby. There's still standby. You can wait in the line. You don't have to, unlike Genie Plus now with Lightning Lane. Well, actually, there is still standby for those too. You can still wait and not pay. You would have to wait. I mean, like at Mickey's house, it's 45 minutes. Again, let me reiterate. This would not apply to Disneyland today. This is not a thing that you would see happen at Disneyland right now because that's just not the way character meet and greets are happening. Bob Paycheck is on the green train. I wonder if this is a paycheck decision. I really do. Because Chapek doesn't run the parks. Josh D'Amaro runs the parks. Good old, handsome, charming, easy in front of the camera Josh D'Amaro, who's now doing a video series on LinkedIn to try to reach out and connect with you guests. See our article on that on the website. I kind of feel like this might be a D'Amaro decision. The Sweep Spot podcast asks, wouldn't it be the same as Photopass? They don't say you can't be in the picture because you didn't pay for it. Right, but you're not having an experience with Photopass. Everybody's in the shot, whereas you're meeting a character. I don't know. I feel like it would be different. Boy, that is weird. I wonder if I bought Genie Plus, but my wife didn't, can we meet Mickey together? Kirsten Livermore says, I think Josh doesn't have much choice under Chapek. Well, then why would you pay Josh X dollars? Why does that job exist? If Josh doesn't get to make decisions, and here's another part. I don't know if this is true or not. We're kind of sidetracking a little bit. When Bob Iger was president and CEO of the Disney company, and Bob Chapek ran Disney parks, anytime something went wrong at Disney parks, Bob Chapek got the blame. Okay? Iger didn't get the blame for Galaxy's Edge. Bob Chapek got the blame for Galaxy's Edge because he was running Disney parks. Now that Josh D'Amaro is running Disney parks and Bob Chapek is running Disney, Bob Chapek is still getting the blame. Devil's advocate. I don't know what's true. People have asked me this all the time. I'm not there in the room. I don't know who's making these decisions. I can't say whether or not. But just food for thought. Food for thought. Let's be fair. Right? Let's be fair. this could be a tomorrow decision. People just don't like Bob Chapek. That's the thing. People just don't like Bob Chapek. He looks like a villain. Okay. Peter Zimmer, if everything at Disneyland is monetized, then why pay for admission? There's going to be a certain point where guests will say no more. Eventually, and here's the funny thing, Peter, on that topic. When we first heard about Disneyland Paris getting paid Fastpass, what do they call it? I forget that stupid name they have for it. Whatever Disneyland Paris is paid Fastpass. We said, hey, this sounds a lot like ticket books again. Sounds like a lot like e-tickets, buying a ticket for each attraction. We're going down that road. Now, there's a big difference in that concept because back then, with the paid ticket books, admission was super cheap. You paid a little bit to get in the parks. You paid $5, whatever, to get in, and then you paid to ride each ride. But I promise you, with every ounce of my being, I promise you, if they were to do that, if they were to go back, Premier Access, thank you. If they were to go back to every ride being a la carte, they would not lower the price of admission. You would pay $125 to get into the park, and then you would pay for each attraction. Promise you. They've been boiling that frog for 7 years, or for however long. No, they wouldn't. Peter, it's exactly, Peter. They would never make the... Why do that? Why? We're already willing to pay. The trick, Peter, is to not do it all at once. Incremental. You do it incrementally until you're like, holy crap, how did we get here? How did we get here? And the thing is that I think that's the reason why there's been a little bit of a revolution of sorts. But that's what I've been saying, Adam. We've been saying that boiling the frog. There's been a revolution of sorts recently. People are just getting angry because they turned up the heat too fast. They turned up the heat too fast, and we're noticing it more. If they had put it on a slow boil like they were a bit before, we wouldn't have noticed it. But they've been trying to do it all at once because they got impatient. Disney got impatient. They were losing money, and they couldn't wait. They couldn't wait a little, be a little bit more patient. We would have suffered through all of that. They did too much at once, and they're still doing too much. And that's the reason why there's a revolution, is that they've gone too fast. Okay, so now that argument aside, talk to me about what situations do you think, if we're ready to pay to ride Rise of the Resistance, then certainly people are. It's working okay at Walt Disney World. It's working okay at Paris. Not as good as Walt Disney World. Paris is going okay. Disney World a little bit better. Disneyland not well at all. It's not working here at all because we have a different kind of guest. But if you are willing to pay for Rise of the Resistance, would you not also be willing to pay to meet Mickey if you've got a family? Right? But can you equate, is there a, what's the word I'm looking for? An equivalence between meeting Mickey and riding Rise of the Resistance? Is there an equivalence there? Because this plan sounds like they think there is. If there's not an equivalence, which I don't think there is, I don't think that there is an equivalence between meeting Mickey and going on Rise of the Resistance. If there's not, then they have to include the Lightning Lane for meeting Mickey as part of your Genie Plus, not a separately paid thing. I think they have to include it in Genie Plus. And now what they've done, if they do that, They've actually increased the value of Genie Plus. Genie Plus has gone from a maybe to maybe. You know what I mean? Like if if it wasn't enough for you to buy Genie Plus just for the rides, then maybe it's enough for you to buy Genie Plus for the rides and the characters. In essence, wow, the arc of my thought process is changing live right here on this live stream. It's happening before your eyes. This is actually, if they do that, if meeting Mickey or any character that they decide to add, if they add that to base Genie Plus, the $15 Genie Plus at Walt Disney World or the $20 Genie Plus here at Disneyland, they, without raising the price, which they just came out with it, so they can't raise it already. If that's included in the same price, then that's more value. That also is kind of telling that they're not selling Genie Plus like they'd like to. That it's not it's not moving at the pace with which they would prefer. Okay. Why is Disneyland Resort G Plus $5 more? Because ours includes Photopass. Can we please stop asking the same question over and over? It's not even, I can't even answer your question, Kobe. I can't even, no, yes, eventually, maybe, I don't know. We have to ask a new question, Kobe, please. Again, Miss Chelsea, I don't think we're going to be paying, or you would be paying individually. I think it's going to be part of your $20 Genie Plus. Sydney Jewell, it seems like they're trying to make Genie Plus more appealing. Yes, that's the point I was just making. I agree. The more they add, the more value, which is good. Actually, it's good. If you thought that it wasn't worth it, if it wasn't worth it enough for you just to have those Lightning Lane attractions, especially if you are a family, if you're a family, then maybe that does become, more valuable. What if you're a family and you're like, I'm not going to bother with Genie Plus because my kids just want to go, they just want to meet characters. They don't want to go on a lot of rides. They like hanging out at Fantasyland and seeing characters. And we go on a few rides. But what if that is the clincher? What if that's enough to trigger that family going from no Genie Plus to Genie Plus? Right? Sal Galucci asks, what character would you like to see added to meeting? Well, the rare ones, in my opinion. That's what I would want to see. You know what I mean? If I don't meet a lot of characters, I can't even relate, to be honest. I really can't. Maybe when Sophia gets older, Tristan never liked meeting characters either. He was terrified of them. Well, not terrified, but he was, really awkward. He didn't like it. He didn't know what to do. That was never a thing for me. So, and I don't know about Sophia. She seems to like seeing the character. She got really googly-eyed over Buzz Lightyear, so maybe that's a thing. But it's hard for me it's hard for me to relate with what that is like. I don't know the urgency of that situation for some families or some people who really do put a lot of value in meeting characters and getting their picture taken. Ride specific would be cool. Jacob, I kind of like that. There's a lot of things like, like the Critter Country characters, or Splash Mountain or something like that. Although that's not going to be a thing anymore. Villains, yeah, villains would be big. Yeah, Federalist says, I have no problem with paying to meet a character. I don't like the idea of kids watching others cut in front of them to meet a Disney princess. Are you saying that if you're paying, you're cutting? Because they're separate queues. That it's a separate line. You would I don't feel like people on Lightning Lane are cutting me. I'm not sure if that's the point you were making. DW Plus. My family is 5 people. So for us, Genie Plus adds $500 for a 5-day trip. So yes, I would like more value. Exactly. And that's the thing. This only works. This is only a good thing if they're not charging separately and they're not raising the price of Genie Plus. This is actually just more value. It might, for DW, this might make it a buy now instead of a no buy. I think I've come around in the course of this live stream, assuming that my thought process is correct. I think I've come around. They just have to make. They just can't raise the price. They can't charge extra or separately, and they can't raise the price of Genie Plus. If they do that, then I'm coming around. Obviously, right? It's just more value for Genie Plus. Now it will make it's bad. You know, it's bad. You were being. I know, right, Adam? I am. You know, it's funny. It's hard to be like. I try to be, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Unemotional about this, because my first instinct was shake my fist. I try to be. Why can't I think of the word? Why can't I think of the word? Objective? That's the word. Okay. I'm trying to be neutral, yes. That's Liz. So, okay, I'm going to wrap this one here because I didn't want to make this a long video anyway. I have to wrap this here, but food for thought. I want to hear your thoughts. If you guys are going to watch this on replay, maybe, I'm going to try to button things up. It's not, well, I got to watch the video now. I didn't know it was already going. It sounds like it's part of Genie Plus, part of your what you're already paying for Genie Plus. So it's just an added value, an added benefit. And it might convert a no buy to a buy. Meanwhile, God, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's so 50-50 for me right now. All right. That's all I got for this one, guys. Food for thought. Give me your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm hoping to do more of these just when certain situations come up and I don't have the ability or the time to make a proper video about it. So stay tuned. I'll try to let you know on Twitter when that happens. Follow us on Twitter, Fresh Baked Disney. That's fresh with no E. Follow us here on Fresh Baked Presents. So and turn on your notifications and all that. And we'll try to keep you up to date. Otherwise, thanks for joining us. Go back to Fresh Baked and watch our food video. We had a lot of fun with that. And stay tuned for more from Fresh Baked. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. And Fresh Baked.